Good morning and welcome to the Married to Sports podcast. With me, as always, I got Rodney and Do, and for the first time ever on the Married to Sports podcast, we got Jake from Jake's Takes. Man, what's up, Jake? How you doing this morning?
Yo, I'm so excited, man. I'm glad to be here. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be interesting. I've been
Rodney,
waiting for
Do, how are
this.
you guys doing this morning?
We're doing well. I'm doing well.
Been at it all
I'm
morning.
tired. I've been at it all morning. But yeah, games last night kept me up
I
late.
say
You know what
I
we
saw your
mean.
text and I was like, man, it's quite the order. Uh, Pretty nice. But the last night watching the Bucks game, I did not finish. I did not finish the second half of the Seahawks game. It was like 14-6 when I turned it off. But the Baker Mayfield, Baker Mayfield was in the MVP discussion going into this game. Uh, how do we feel about Baker Mayfield after this game? You go last.
I'll go last on this one.
You want to go, Rodney?
I still think Baker Mayfield is an MVP level quarterback, but like I said before, you can't be the comeback kid all year. You're gonna end up. It's gonna come back and bite you in the butt. And I think this game, Detroit was ultimately a lot better on defense because the Bucks defense couldn't stay one healthy enough, and it was just a bad loss for them, but a good win for Detroit.
Also, by the way, to feed off of that, I think you also have to look at Calvin Shepard. Calvin Shepard is the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. He coached a fantastic game. I think, honestly, and I'm not even trying to exaggerate, I think that you could have put a lot of different quarterbacks out there, and I think you still get the same result. It was almost a perfect defensive game by Detroit. So I don't give too much flack to Baker. I think that he still is an MVP level quarterback, but this definitely did hurt his stock as of right
See,
now.
you went exactly where I was going, Jake. I think it's more of a testament to the Lions than it is to Baker Mayfield. I thought the Lions came out and did a great job last night, especially after getting whooped by the Chiefs the week before. And so I think it was more of a, hey man, we really are who we are, and we're going to come out here and we're going to show you and we're going to dominate. I do think that Baker had um, didn't have a great night, but if you look at the D line for the Lions last night, dude, they were swatting his passes down everywhere. I don't know how many swats they ended up with last night, but they were swatting them down. The defense just played great. I mean, there was nothing really anybody could do on the Tampa. They did a great job. Go ahead, D. I'll let you have your thunder.
So the difference in last night's game came down to the secondaries of the defense. Um, Tampa Bay is hurting in the linebacker and defensive back and safety positions. The Lions have injuries there, but they were able to manage with their backups. Both teams gave up 4 sacks. Both offensive gave up 4 sacks. So it's not necessarily the line for Tampa. You know, they allowed more pressure on Baker than Jared Goff had. Jared Goff had a little bit more time to stand back there last night and throw that ball, but between the defenses, it was a secondary that hurt Tampa. But the other thing that hurt Tampa was Baker's receivers. Evans went out; he's done for the season. Godwin's not in. Baker's been able to manage that. Tez Johnson last night stepped up, and I think he's going to be really good. Ibuka is still dinged up, but he played, but he wasn't 100%. But Cade Otton, that that interception catch that they gave to Detroit, that hurt. Um, so you got to look at those plays right there. If I was Tampa today, I would be calling Tyler Lockett's agent because he's out there floating. Um, he asked for a trade. Tennessee waived him. He's out there. I'm surprised the Steelers aren't going to probably try to maybe
That's
hook
what
up
I was
DK
hoping for.
Metcalf and Lockett again. But if I was Tampa, If I was Tampa, I would be calling Tyler Lockett. Look, I know he
He's
hadn't
been
had a great
snubbed.
season, but he's been with Tennessee. I know he's getting long in the tooth, but he's better than some of these young kids that Tampa's trying to plug in there, especially off the practice squad. I would be going after Tyler Lockett right now if I was Tampa,
Tyler Lockett is getting
because you're going to need
snubbed
that
in
guy.
Tennessee, right? Or he was getting snubbed in Tennessee. That's the only reason he had a fall off in production. It's not that he fell off
Yeah.
running his routes. It's not that he fell off running his speed. He's not injured. No, it's they did that to him. Tyler Lockett can still play. He would make a great number 3 in Dallas. But I'm with you, Dio. I was hoping when I saw that yesterday, yesterday or the day before. It's only been a couple days, but when I saw that, I was exactly hoping what you. I'm hoping for a DK rematch, not rematch, but reconnect, reunion. There you go.
Reunion.
Yeah, that's a great take. And honestly, I think that at the end of the day, Tampa Bay is not going to find any success out of this until they start being able to have more than just a second man up. Because don't get me wrong, McMillan and Tez Johnson and like these guys aren't any slouches at all. Obviously, like Dio said, Tez had a great game, but at the same time, you're not going to be able to rely on rookies and second year players for the entire season. And I think that a veteran guy like Tyler, or just a veteran guy in general, let alone Tyler Lockett, because he's one of the best secure pass catchers in the NFL, would that be perfect for Baker Mayfield. But at the same time, you just need a guy that can get in there and be smart mentally, and that comes with veteran presence. So I think Tyler Lockett be perfect.
Yeah, they need that vet. Yeah, they need the veteran on that team to help these young guys along. No, Mike Evans will still be around to, give him advice and show him what plays, like those reads, routes to run. He'll still be a key part because that's who Mike Evans is. I hate that he's back and then he's out again. But that goes back to, when I watched that play, the first thing I expected to see was it a hospital ball? You know what I mean? But it turned out to be a player landing on a player and a turf ball. You know what I mean? So again, here we are. I'm talking about the turf again. These indoor stadiums, they're pretty much playing on concrete with a thin pad. And when you go down on that and you get the guy's body weight on you, it doesn't matter what size you are. You're going to take probably a stinger or worse, a collarbone.
Yeah.
We were talking on the lives last night. Not Baker. Mike Evans is 32 years old, and he had a 2-year contract which expires this year, going into the 2026 season. Is he done?
I don't think he's done, Rodney, but honestly, I really think that at the end of the day, he might be done with Tampa Bay. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. I know shake your head no. I don't think that he would want to leave, but at the same time, I don't think that the Bucks are in a position to pay him anymore. So if he is done, he's going to retire because he's
That's
not going to leave Tampa. And I don't think that Tampa Bay is financially in a position to keep him after this point because you got to think about you have to pay a lot of defensive players eventually. You also have to pay these other receivers that are getting better as Mike is getting older. There's so many places that need to get better on Tampa Bay as of right now that I feel like Mike Evans, he could take a team friendly deal, but if he doesn't, I mean, why do you sign him?
Teams aren't going to necessarily want to take a flyer on him for the fact of his age and his injury he's going to be coming off of, his rehabbing. But here's the thing about Mike Evans. The only reason I pay any attention to Tampa Bay is because my son is a Tampa Bay fan. His grandparents lived down there, just south of Tampa, and Mike Evans is deeply rooted in that community. And he's the type of guy that at the end of the day, if he thinks he's only got 1 or 2 years left in him, he's going to stay in Tampa Bay and he's going to finish off his career there. That's the only reason I was shaking my head. I'm not disagreeing with you if we were talking about a DK Metcalf. He's a gun for hire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what DK Metcalf is. That's what a Tyler Lockett is right now. That's what a lot of these, like OBJ, you know,
Yeah.
they're a gun for hire,
Yeah.
and they're gonna go where they see the best opportunity to win. Now Baker's still there, and you got to imagine Ibuka year 2. You got to imagine Des Johnson.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Evans may go. We might have a chance if we get some defense help. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
no.
if he sees a potential possibility to get back to the Super Bowl with Tampa, he's going to definitely take that because that's home, and he's too rooted in that community. Now, you're right. Players have been known to do the opposite. So, you know, there's both sides to that coin. But I agree and disagree with you, Jake. But they're both. You know, I'm not going to toot my own horn on my point, but I like your point as well.
Yeah, now your point's very good. I think that's a very good point. But
11,000-yard receiving years in a row. Mike Evans, if he does retire, he'll retire a buck. I don't see him going anywhere to finish out his career. I think he would take a home deal, and you kind of changed your statement up the second time you went through it, and so we're going to agree on that second statement is if he has any time left, it's going to be in Tampa. It'll be for whatever money they want to give him that he'll take. I mean, it'll be a friendly deal to both parties. It'll be something they both agree on. I don't know if I could ever imagine Mike Evans in a different jersey. He's meant so much to that Tampa Bay organization for years.
That's why I asked the question because you know what? There are certain guys like a Jerome Bettis, like the Emmitt Smiths, that you can never really picture, although they may have gone into other jerseys, you can never picture in other jerseys. Mike Evans is that guy that ultimately has meant so much to Tampa Bay, has given his heart soul to Tampa Bay with the way he played. So ultimately, I feel like if he's going to retire, it's going to be with Tampa Bay. But also, I think the way he plays, I think if he did decide to learn coaching, let's say, he would stay a player and go out and mentor another team like this, a 1 year, couple year thing, just to get acclimated to doing something different, like on the field.
Tree or something like that. Get out there,
Yeah.
help some receiver. Yeah. Mike Evans does seem like that
And,
type of
and
player.
if he has aspirations to coach, that may be an opportunity for him to come up as a receivers coach. You know, and get his feet wet.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I loved when Byron Leftwich was there, you know, on the coaching staff. There's two receivers we can move on from Tampa after this, whenever you guys are ready. There's two receivers I want to see gone from Tampa Bay. I know Sterling, you know, Shepard was Mayfield's boy at Oklahoma. He is not delivering on that team. He's not. He has not stepped up. He's been in the league a while, and he's not doing it. You got Johnson last night shining. Okay? You got Ibuka shining. The other guy who cannot stay healthy and his attitude is piss poor, that's Chris Godwin. He was pissed when they drafted Ibuka, and for good reason, because he's threatened by Ibuka. Now he's got Johnson to worry about. If you don't think Ibuka and Johnson can't step up as a 2 and a 3, and if Evans was to come back, they'll be the 1 and 2. Because Godwin, for me, he's dead weight. They've got to move on from him. They've got to figure out a way to get him out of there, move him. Because we talk about money, he's a sponge. Mm-hmm. That's all I got about Tampa. Congratulations to the Lions. They played a great home game last night. You know, Goff got it done. They gave up some big, you know, Tampa's defense gave up some big plays to them. They were
I agree with you on Godwin. I disagree with you on Sterling Shepard.
So,
I think he's a fine number 2. Put Ibuka at the 1, Sterling at the 2, or even at the slot, and put Tez. And then when McMillan gets back from his neck injury, he's going to be really good. I like Sterling Shepard. I disagree. I didn't think the New York Giants should have ever got rid of him. They should have got rid of Slayton before they got rid of Shepard.
But
Yeah.
you're not hearing Shepard. You're not hearing Shepard's stats though. You're hearing
I'm
about the
watching him.
other receivers on Tampa. And but if Shepard is Baker's boy, then why is
Because
Baker
Abuka's
looking
beating
for
double
somebody
coverage.
else? Why are these other
Abuka's getting wide open, and that's why
guys?
Baker's throwing him the ball.
I'm going to go back.
Shepard is not.
I'm going to go back and watch the game. I'm going to go back and watch the game from last night, and I may even go back and watch the Eagles game. I want to see how much Shepard was covered up.
Well, by the way, real quick, I know that we're still on
We're about to
Tampa. I
move.
don't know when we're going to move to Seattle, Houston. But let me tell you, insane. That game was
The
insane.
Seattle Houston.
Just saying, like, wow, 10 o'clock game, but it was
Well,
phenomenal.
we're moving on there right now. I'm done with the Bucks. So,
Gotcha.
other than Jackson Smith is looking like a Triple Crown winner, I'm not. There's nothing about Sam Darnold's playing well. Houston started making a comeback last night. I mean, I thought it was like 19 to something. But go ahead and Jake,
27-19.
say what you want to say about this game.
Well, as far as I am concerned, I believe that the Houston Texans, and this is going to sound a little bit harsh, but I think that obviously not completely blow it up, but they need to try and build a better offense around CJ Stroud. I feel like they are failing CJ Stroud. This offensive line, when you trade a first round pick at offensive guard with a draft pick for CJ Gardner Johnson, and then you cut CJ Gardner Johnson, you trade Laramie Tunsil. You've done nothing to fix this offensive line, and Seattle showed that. Seattle ate on that offensive line. They were on CJ Stroud like white on rice. It was tough. It was hard to watch. And then as far as Seattle goes, dude, Elijah Arroyo might end up being one of the better tight ends in the NFL. That kid is a stud. He had a great game last night. I like everything that I see from Seattle. Seattle's my sleeper pick to potentially make the Super Bowl. These guys, their defense is flying. That Nick Emmanwori, that safety that they drafted, number 3, he's a stud. That Joby kid that they picked up at corner.
Well, you want to go ahead, Rod?
You know what? I did watch a lot of that game, and I was impressed with the defense for Seattle. They were flying around, but ultimately, they do remind me of Detroit. They got a good two-headed monster in the run game with Walker and Charbonnet, and you throw in I can't say his name, Njigba and Cooper Kupp. Yeah, they're going to be a dangerous team. I didn't expect them to be that good because I knew that when they switched coaches last year, they came out won 10 games, but there were certain pieces I didn't know how quick they would be coming into this year. But ultimately, they're a really quick team, and they're one of the best hitting teams right now.
First thing I'm going to say about the NFC West is there's a potential for 3 teams to come out of there for the playoffs. That is either a team is going to miss by 1 game based on a loss they've taken, or they are going to have 3. There's potential 3 teams coming out of the NFC West, and you're probably going to end up seeing 2 of them have to play each other in the wild card round right off the bat, which you'll be dropped down to 2. But the way the Rams are playing right now, the 49ers are getting it done with their injuries, and Seattle continues to do what Seattle does. There was no doubt in my mind. I did not see any possibility of Houston winning that game last night just by watching it. The eye test showed me that Houston has all kind of problems. And the thing about Houston is this is year 3 of Stroud. When they drafted him, you're thinking, okay, they're in rebuilding mode. This is year 3 for Stroud, and he does not have a supporting cast that, one, on paper looks decent, and two, on the field is even worse. They have problems, and I think it's probably going to end up coming down to a coaching change, because year
Yeah.
3 with Stroud, they should have him. In that draft, the past 2 drafts, they've had 2 drafts since they drafted him. They should have him some help, and he doesn't have it right now. It's not happening. So that's all I got to say about the Houston team. They look like they're in a 6-year rebuild plan, in my opinion. That's the way I see it. And if I was a Houston fan, I'd be like, wait a minute, a rebuild should take maybe two years after you draft your quarterback, because I still think Stroud is not a lost cause. I think he's done a decent job for what he's had to work with. So, anyways, that's all I got to say about last night. I still think there's 3 teams coming out of the NFC West possibly, and you're probably going to see the other 3 divisions with one, of course, your champion of each division and a wild card. But I think the other 2 wild cards go to the NFC West.
I was really high on the Rams. You're good.
Sorry
Jake.
about that, by the
That
way,
was
guys.
that Rams were my Super Bowl pick because they were, for me, had the fewest questions in Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. But the Niners, with all the injuries they've overcome, they are legit. And with that connection with Robert Saleh and Shanahan, it just works. It just works. And you got I knew Seattle's defense was going to be really good with Kobe Bryant and Julian Love, and they got a really nice. They got my guy D Law. I knew Seattle was going to be nice. They had a really low floor and a really high ceiling for me going into the season, and the defense is what made them have such a high floor for me. Sam Darnold is playing well. Sam Darnold's playing like an All-Pro, and I know when you have Jackson Smith that helps, but I mean you still got to get it to him, and he's looking more like Minnesota Darnold than he was Jets Darnold. And so I'm actually mildly impressed with the Seahawks and what they've done this year and what they've been able to accomplish. But back to the Texans, when you have a defensive head coach like that, they put all their firepower on the defensive side. They let him, other than Tank Dell, who's out all year, right? Maybe come back next year. You have Nico Collins, and I'm sorry, but you got Joe Mixon, who's out, right? And you've got Nick Chubb, who blew out both legs.
And you don't. And
What are we doing here? What are you doing to help CJ? Nothing. You're keeping him in low-scoring ball games, but he doesn't have any weapons. They're not even utilizing Dalton Schultz. Why'd you even take him from us? That was a stud tight end that you guys are just letting go to waste. And so I'm with you, Jake. I think you got to blow it up and start over. I think you need to look for a head coach. D'Amico Ryans is going to be a great
Yeah,
DC.
and,
He's
and
not
on
going to
top
be
of
able
it,
to get the
Brandon,
job done. That
James
would work.
Franklin.
I would love that for Houston.
yeah, but like honestly, so before I got cut off, the thing about Houston as well, like you said, you kind of just took it right from my head. Uh, their defensive minded head coach. Don't get me wrong, D'Amico Ryans is an absolute genius. I
Good
love what
player.
he's done with this defense. The defense has been great, as you said. A lot of low scoring games. A lot of low scoring games. Very very fair assessment. But at the same time, when you aren't able to put any talent, like I'm not just saying like good, even just good players, you're not able to put any consistent just base talent on this offensive line. Your best offensive lineman has been Blake Fisher, and he's like 23 years old. Where are the veteran offensive linemen protecting your franchise quarterback, as you guys like to say he is? If he's your franchise quarterback, why don't you act like it? Am I right or am I right? You're not doing anything to help this guy. You draft 2 receivers, but guess what? You draft no offensive linemen. So what are you doing? What's the point?
you say that, Jake, uh, and I'm going to put it like this. I believe the Texans are going to end up being that Cleveland Browns organization here, in the sense of, you know what? And I know I'm going to get some pushback, but ultimately, look at how, before Deshaun Watson did what he did,
The
look at
Baker
the
situation.
quarterbacks they've had. Look at the quarterbacks they've had that were good and elite. David Carr, whatever you want to call them, serviceable quarterbacks. They all were underperforming because of the organizational skill set of getting talent around them. I mean, Cleveland right now is getting talent around Gabriel and Shedeur, and we're going to see how that comes to fruition. But in the past, Cleveland was not putting the talent around these guys. So I think Houston's following that suit in the same sense of how these guys are performing.
Yeah,
My ear's the only one hearing that. My brain's rejecting some stuff here. Hang on. So, Rod, if you told me some guy in your neighborhood beat you up and you want me to do something about it, I would never wish the Cleveland Browns syndrome on him. I don't. Texas has got more money to play with and I think they have a better organization. You know, we just spoke about DeMeco Ryans being a great defensive coordinator. Maybe that's just what he needs to be. They need to bring in a offensive-minded coach that's going to give feedback to the front office and say, I need that guy, and that guy to help my quarterback. Cleveland, they just reach into a bag and pull out a chip and go, draft that guy. You know, they don't. To me, Cleveland doesn't even do the research. They don't. Come on. They had 6 quarterbacks on their roster at the beginning of the season, even before the season. They had 6 quarterbacks. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah,
okay.
Flacco, DTR, friggin' Watson, Gabriel, Shedeur, and there's one Bailey Zappi, right?
Pickett.
Well, you had Pickett too, but the thing is, the Texans have sniffed victory and had better playoff projections than the Browns. But you know, JJ retired. You know, those glory days are over. But where we're at is we're looking at a head coach right now. I think that's the biggest problem in Houston. They've got to get somebody more offensive minded in there. Look, yeah, their defense kept them in a close game, but their offense isn't clicking, and they don't have the weapons to do it. Stroud's under pressure too much, and I think they're going to ruin that kid because, you know, he's a hit or two away from an injury.
And that's where I was going by my comments right there.
Houston reminds me more of like an Arizona Cardinals.
That's the comp
not a
right
Cleveland
there.
Browns.
That's a great comp.
Yeah. They're more of a Arizona Cardinal than they are a Cleveland Brown.
All right, I'll agree. I just use Cleveland because the quarterbacks were going to die.
But that gives me an idea though. Hold on, let's think about it this way. Honestly, can we say just a hypothetical? Like if C.J. Stroud had been in Arizona and they drafted Paris Johnson Jr. at left tackle, they signed Will Hernandez at guard, they got Trey McBride, they got Marvin Harrison Jr. They made a bunch of good moves, and I feel like Arizona just hasn't had the right quarterback play. I'm not saying Kyler Murray's bad. Kyler Murray's a good quarterback. I just think that it's not the right fit. But if CJ Stroud had been somewhere like that was rebuilding in that way, as compared to Houston, I feel like it would have been much better for the kid. I feel like it's a situation.
Look, Kyler Murray is mid at best. Stop. Let's not sugarcoat it.
I've got CJ Stroud's a lot better.
CJ Stroud is a lot better quarterback.
Yeah, but you see what I mean? Like the rebuilding process of things, this is all organizational because, think about it. Kyler Murray wouldn't have never got that contract that he got if he had been in Houston in terms of rebuild. You know what I'm saying? Kyler Murray would have gotten eaten alive out there. CJ Stroud is such a good quarterback, and he's being failed by his organization.
You trade CJ Stroud and Nico Collins and get some draft picks?
Yeah.
At this point, yeah.
C.J. Stroud to
Yeah, I mean,
Miami.
Absolutely.
yeah. Go ahead, Rodney. What do you think, man? I like get rid of him.
I don't know who I would trade him to, but you know what? At least know you can get first and a third out of CJ
New York Jets would
Stroud.
be stupid
The
enough to
Jets
do
go
it.
from Fields to C.J. Stroud. That would be hilarious. That would be
A huge
hilarious.
upgrade. But Aaron Glenn is the coach. Eh,
But do they know how to use a quarterback like that?
I mean, Aaron Glenn's
That's
gonna
the
have to figure out
question.
something up there.
It's got to be better than negative
You
10
can't be
passing
over.
yards.
You cannot be over in your first season after you made Aaron Rodgers fly himself all the way across the country for a 15-minute conversation when it could have been a text. Yeah, they look beyond silly right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Beyond silly, which I was hoping for. Thank God Aaron Rodgers got with a functional organization in Pittsburgh and is looking like Aaron Rodgers should be looking like. I'm telling y'all right now, 11 wins. Pittsburgh has 11 wins. Calling it right now. Started before the season.
Yeah, not
All
Pittsburgh
right.
looks good.
So moving on to get more things in. You know, Game 7 was last night, that Seattle and Toronto series. Toronto took it. How do y'all see the World Series being the Dodgers and Blue Jays?
So I'm gonna be real.
Ugh,
After seeing the series between Seattle and the Blue Jays, I honestly thought the Seattle Mariners were way overpowered the Blue Jays, especially in those first two games. I thought it was going to be a sweep. I didn't think it was going to be close. Blue Jays battled back and they fought back. I think they're going to be able to battle. But when you're looking at the Dodgers, I think they bought another one. Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freeman. I mean, the list just goes on and on over there. And unfortunately, I do think the Dodgers, even though they have a one less win, I think the Dodgers are going to be too much. Unfortunately, I'm rooting for the Blue Jays the whole way. Don't get it twisted. I am rooting for the Blue Jays the whole way, but Dodgers are just too much.
I got the Blue Jays in 6. And here's why. The Yankees were the team last year the Dodgers beat
Smoke
out of the
them.
World Series. This year, the Blue Jays took the NL East. They put Boston and New York as the
That's
little
true.
sisters in the wild card.
Not Boston. Yankees
put
put
them
us there. Yankees beat us.
Hold
It
on.
won the
though.
division. Yeah.
The Blue Jays won that
Sorry.
division. That's what I'm saying. They took the two little sisters and made them fight amongst themselves. And what I'm saying with that is they had to play the Yankees all year and they had to play the Red Sox all year and a horrible Orioles team. But
It is.
they won that division. To me, that shows they have the grit and they have the depth to go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers. The Dodgers are notorious about spending all that money and having the highest payroll in baseball. And they find a way to choke sometimes. Okay? Yeah, they swept the Brewers. The Brewers got hot just before the All-Star break and they never looked back. But teams get cold. That magic does eventually run out. And it could run out 1 or 2 games early for the Dodgers. So that's my point about this Blue Jays team. They were not hot, throughout the year. They would get little cycles and they would maintain. They were sustaining those leads. Okay? They were looking at small ball by winning a series. They wouldn't sweep a series, but they would win a series. And that's what it takes. So if they go to LA, they got the first 2 in Toronto. They got to go to LA for 3. They're going to be damned if they try to give up 2 out of those 3 in LA. They're going to treat that like a series, regardless
Right.
of what game 1 and 2 looks like in Toronto, because that's what Seattle did. Seattle came in and took 2 games in Toronto. They went back and they took 2 out of 3 in Seattle. and then they brought it back home and they finished them off. So,
ultimately, I agree with you, but here's the way I'm gonna look at this. You gotta look at Dodgers swept the Brewers. They've been off for a while, and Game 7 was yesterday.
Friday.
The series starts Friday.
Yep.
Los Angeles is going to be too rested. I mean,
that doesn't always help a team.
I'm not saying it does. That's my point. I mean, the Dodgers can be too rested, meaning the bats get cold and the pitching is suspect. I'm playing the devil's card here. I can see it going that way because they've had. Help me out here. When did they sweep the Brewers?
Over that last weekend.
You're right. They're going to sit for a minute. You're right about that.
Maybe.
I mean, ultimately, I feel like when you look at it, you're not complacent. You're hungry, but are you going to come out sluggish, or are you going to come out hot? That's what we got to look for with the Dodgers team. Knowing that Tuesday to Friday, 3 days, this team's going to be more well-oiled. Toronto's going to be more well-oiled coming off of that Game 7. Now, Game 7s can also take the fire out of you, too, because you had to battle mentally.
Let me ask you this, because this is what's going to be important for the Mariners. Are they at the top of the rotation? Where did Game 7 put them in their pitching rotation?
They threw Bieber last night. They still have Scherzer. They can put Scherzer. I love seeing him pitch the other day because you haven't seen Max Scherzer in a while. Since his Washington National days. That guy still has some stuff. And if they can use him to get them through some innings, they're going to use him. That's all they need him for. So I'd have to look at the rotation, but I think the Blue Jays are going to be all right. That manager up in Toronto, I guarantee you there's 16 teams in the rest of the league that would love to have him as their manager, their skipper.
If Blue Jays win it, I think
he's done a hell of a job.
I'm rooting for the Blue Jays, but I think it's going to be a series. I think Mookie Betts, Freeman, Ohtani, I just think it's a lot.
Yeah. And I have a couple of friends that are Toronto fans, like close friends that I've been talking to throughout this entirety of the playoffs. And like literally from Canada, like these guys love the Blue Jays. And a lot of the opinion that I've been getting from some personal fans is that they thought that they almost lost this because of their manager. And it's interesting because Dio's right though. Like there's a lot of teams that would like somebody like that, but the fans that I've talked to have said that the manager is the reason that honestly they didn't get this done in 5 or 6. So it's interesting, but at the same time, I think that Toronto just played their game. I think that they were able to outplay that management as far as the Seattle series went. So like in terms of like how the fans feel, I mean I get it because like you're gonna be critical of your team during playoff time. Anybody, Brandon with the Red Sox, me with the Yankees, it doesn't matter, right? But at the same time, I do feel like they should have been able to beat Seattle a little bit quicker. But Seattle came out hot, like Dio said, in the first 2 games. So it's kind of it's a little bit of like momentum as well, and who's hot, who's not, who's able to take the momentum and keep rolling with it. And Toronto was able to do that and finish out the series. So I think that it's more so on these players like getting together and being able to overcome these different because these pitching decisions. I mean, like my buddy that's a big Blue Jays fan, he said that he didn't necessarily fully agree with it, but I mean they ended up winning the series, so I guess Can you really be that mad?
Who won the home run title this year?
Yeah, I was about to say.
That's correct. Have y'all looked at the slugging percentage and the batting averages of the Mariners
the batting average
towards the end of the season? But all they got to do is play small ball, get on base, and then one of those guys gets up, like Naylor and a few others, and you're in trouble. I mean, they would take chunks. So that's where Seattle was hurting the Blue Jays. Now, if you don't think that they're not going to look at Ohtani and go,
Yeah.
screw it, walking. Okay? Because they would rather face a aged Freddie Freeman than an Ohtani any day. So they're gonna have strategy for this. And I will say this: I've always felt in my years of watching baseball, I've always felt like the American League always seemed to have a little bit better
I will
pitcher.
agree with that.
And it's weird, but it just seems like they have, as a whole, if you take the average from the American League, I just always felt like they had a little bit better pitching. Now, you could argue when you had Tom Glavine and Maddox and Oral Hershiser back in the day, and all those guys. The National League did have some great pitching, but I've always felt like the American League's done a better job developing pitchers in their minors and bringing them up. That gave them an advantage. Look at the Yankees all those years; they had great pitching. The Red Sox, great pitching. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be a great series. It's definitely gonna be well watched. I would say most of the team or most of the fans east of the Rockies are probably pulling for the Blue Jays, and then you got the whole West Coast pulling for the Dodgers. And here's the thing. Honestly, I didn't want to see an all West Coast World Series because every game would be played at 9 or 10 o'clock. What's in it for the East Coast? It'd probably hurt their ratings. So I think it's for the betterment of the country when you have an East and a West team.
I agree.
Going at it.
I do agree.
All right.
I'm really excited
I
about
agree
the
with
series. Don't get it
all
twisted.
that.
I am.
We need to.
I live in Oklahoma.
I guarantee you
That's
a blue and white
that's
team's
it.
going to win. That's a guarantee.
That's a guarantee.
That's a great prop pick. That's a great
There you
prop
go.
pick.
That's my hot take for the series.
I live in Oklahoma, and so Joe Carter is a big figure here. You know what I mean? And so I actually graduated as a Blue Jay. So my high school mascot was a Blue Jay, and so I would love to see the Blue Jays win this just for personal reasons. But I'm really nervous. Vlad Guerrero, I was watching him the other day, and it's amazing. There's times that he doesn't look like his dad, and then there's times that he really looks like his dad. And his dad was fun to watch. I watched his dad growing up, and he was a fun guy to watch. Vlad Guerrero. If you've not seen Senior play, go watch the film. Sweet swing, sweet player.
So before we move on from the World Series, I got a quick stat for you guys. In the postseason, this year, the Toronto Blue Jays had a .296 batting average, and the Dodgers had a .256 batting average. Regular season, the Dodgers had a .265 versus a 2.53. So right now, the Blue Jay bats they have a slight edge. They have a slight edge.
Steaming.
Man, they are.
They're steaming too.
Yeah. So I think these two. I think this is the best two teams in the series. I do. I really do. That's what when the playoffs were set, I felt the Dodgers and the Blue Jays were going to be there. And just based on their rosters. That's all I got, guys. Y'all go ahead.
So,
all right. I mean, I think it's going to be Blue Jays in 7. I'm going to go 7. But let's get into the NBA.
Oh, y'all
Guys,
see
open
it.
the night tonight.
Now, I'm a Lakers fan. Go Lakers. Lake Show.
Oh, Lord. But you're misrepping the Lakers
I
for a
bought
Thunder
the-
jersey.
I got my LeBron jersey sitting right
This is
upstairs.
a Steven Adams jersey.
Oh yeah, I can tell. Number 12, the brick wall,
The
Mr. Brick Wall.
Thunder play tonight. They take on the Rockets, and I'm really excited. I think SGA is going to be the player of the year. I think he's going to be the Finals MVP again. I think they run it back to back. Thunder go all the way. Unfortunately, Luka, they're probably going to face Luka in the Western Finals. I just don't think the Lakers are going to be able to get over the hump. SGA is the truth. But what I'm really excited about tonight is Kevin Durant is coming back to Oklahoma City, and he's coming back in another jersey. He's coming back.
Yeah,
All right.
Brandon. Yo, Brandon.
Here's the question.
Oh, go ahead, Rodney.
I'm
What's
gonna
up?
start with this. At what point do you stop chasing rings if you're Kevin Durant and finish with a team that you can have a semblance of a retirement for? Because at this point, who would you retire
Well, he's probably going to
to?
retire in Oklahoma. I feel like he would have to retire either a
No.
OKC Thunder or whoever he's with when he does retire. I don't think that I don't think that he would, or maybe even
Golden
Golden
State.
State. I don't know. It's so odd. It's just like where do you go? Where do you go? Do you go where you won the 2014 MVP? Do you go where you won 2 championships? Like it's very odd to me. And also on top of it, by the way, I wanted to mention the Rockets starting lineup tonight. Their point guard is 6'7", and then everybody else is over 6'11". So that's going to be crazy. But yeah, Kevin Durant's playing shooting guard tonight. But regardless, yeah, that Kevin Durant, I don't know. I think that he just retires with who he's with. I don't think that Kevin Durant is also the type of guy to like care about that. I just don't. He cares about playing ball. I don't think he cares about where he
Yeah,
retires. I really
so
don't.
that's what I was gonna say is he's not chasing rings at this point. At this point, he's trying to find a place that he feels comfortable that he wants to retire. Now, I'm with Jake on the sense that I think he retires either in the team he finishes with or he retires at Golden State. I don't want to see a reunion with Golden State. That was boring as hell. I mean, when we had LeBron in Cleveland and Kevin Durant over in Golden State, we knew what the finals were going to be every year, and it was just dumb. It really it hurt the game of basketball and made it boring. I think you've got to go to if you're Kevin Durant, you got to go to Golden State because of how you left Oklahoma City. Unfortunately, I'm a huge Kevin Durant fan. UT, Hook 'em Horns. Unfortunately, you left Oklahoma City in a very very bad way. You went to the finals. You lost in the finals. You went to the team that beat you. That went 73-9, right? So
Something like that.
Yeah, they won. They won
72 and
73.
10 at least had a ring to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
And so I think you've got to retire. I think you got to retire Golden State. That's just me.
So Jake's not going to be here to hear this, but when the Rockets play the Spurs, do they bring the Admiral back to play against Durant? They bring back Robinson. I mean, when I saw Durant signed with the Rockets, I'm like, this guy's still playing? I mean, you know,
I would love to see David Robinson versus Kevin Durant.
Bro, wait a second. Look.
That would be an epic matchup.
Well, he would not been able to
but
bang with
dude,
them
nah,
boys.
like the thing with KD.
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, bro, man. The '90s was different. You're not banging with the Admiral. You're not banging with the Dream, Akeem Olajuwon. You're not beating Magic Johnson 1-on-1. Sorry, Cade Cunningham. You're not beating Magic Johnson 1-on-1. It's not happening. The eras are so different. It's not even close. Not even close. Really isn't.
No,
I
When-
just said that, when Houston visits San Antonio to play, do they bring the Admiral out to match up against?
I know. With the old
Because
man,
I just feel Durant. I just feel Durant is. I feel he is the Chris Paul, of the NBA now.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Paul kept bouncing around. I'm like, dude, retire. It's time to retire. You know, he thought he had it in Phoenix, and then it didn't work out in Phoenix, and
And now he's
you
back
know,
with the Clippers. He's back with the Clippers. You were
I
with San
know.
Antonio. Dio, you were with San Antonio last year. You helped Victor Wembanyama with his development. Cool. You only won like not even 30 games? Bro, pack it up. It's time to go to Shady Oaks retirement home. It's a wrap. You're done. You're done.
Well, that's you brought up Wembyama. You know, yesterday the guys were telling me you're gonna have to pick an NBA team. You know, you're gonna do basketball, and I'm like, I was a Bullets fan. That was my team. And when they changed the name to the Wizards in '97, I said, nope, I'm done. I can't. And they brought the colors back. And you know, even some guys that I knew were like, well, their jerseys, you know, look just like the Bullets. They just say Washington. I'm like, nope. I said they're the Wizards, and I can't stand that name. So I've quit. You know, I quit watching NBA. Now I'll watch the finals. You know, but I finally decided. You know what? The only hat I could see on my head was a black and silver hat, like the Spurs. You know, because some of the other team colors and stuff, I'm just kind of like, ugh, I don't like that. You know, so I'm going to pull for the Spurs this year. So that's going to be
That's
my
good.
team.
I think that's a good
So
thing for you
They're
to pull
good
for.
this Oh man, they're so good this year.
Victor Wembanyama is a stud. If he can stay healthy, if they can help him, get him some help, oh my goodness, I cannot wait to see what he does.
Oh, Brandon, they did this year, bro. They did this year, bro. Oh, that rookie Dylan Harper.
who's their?
Oh, Ron Harper's son, bro.
I
Oh
know
man.
Popovich is gone. Who's their coach now?
Their coach is oh crap, who is it?
The name's escaping me.
Yeah, the name's escaping me too.
But
Because
he
the
was on the
Pop
bench
just
with
left,
them
so I'm
for a
not.
long
Yeah,
time.
I'm not sure. But yo, while I can, if
Don't
I can
worry.
name a couple while you guys are
Mitch
looking, like they have
Johnson.
like Stephon Castle. Okay. But they have like Stephon Castle, they have Dylan Harper, they have Jeremy Sohan, Keldon Johnson. Like this team is just it's built to win. It is built to win. Victor Wembanyama finally also has some shooters around him. Dylan Harper coming into the league is I'm pretty sure like almost a 40% shooter from three or somewhere in the
Kelly
high
Olynyk, Harrison
30s.
Barnes.
And then you also have Stephon Castle,
Kelly
huh?
Olynyk, Harrison Barnes, De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah. You see what I mean? They got some good talent around Vic. They got some decent talent. Dude, having wings like that, having Harrison Barnes. So imagine Wemby's coming through the post, coming down the lane, kicks it to the corner. Harrison Barnes three, like it's Golden State all over again. Like, dude, it's
Dude, it
it's
might
it's
come
gonna be
down to the
crazy.
Thunder and the
It's gonna be
Spurs.
crazy.
Really.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
mean, if you
I
look
really
at
do.
what the San Antonio Spurs have done collectively as a whole for the last 30 years, I know Pop isn't there anymore, and I know that makes a difference. But they got a bunch of team guys. They got a bunch of guys that are like team players, not they don't have any like other than Wemby, they don't have a true like ball handler. Like you know what I mean? Not a ball handler. They got De'Aaron Fox as a ball handler. But I mean like Victor Wembanyama is gonna be your one. That's gonna be your go to guy throughout the series, throughout the playoffs, throughout everything. Um, and so I think the Thunder play the best team ball in the West. They may not now. You got a bunch of ballers over there that play ball. That this is going to be. This is what's really disappointing about the Knicks. And I've said this I don't know how many times. It becomes the Jalen Brunson show. You have Cat, you have Anunoby, you have Hart. Like you have all these pieces around you that are really good pieces. That if you play team ball, that who's going to stop you? You have the best starting five in the league. Like from top to bottom, including the depth in the rosters, the Knicks from top to bottom are the best, hands down. There's not a team in the league that I look at that I'm like, man, there's a team more scary than this one right here. The Knicks are it. They don't know what to do with it because Jalen Brunson runs the whole 20 seconds out of the 24 shot clock. You're not going to see that. Here's who I don't
Yeah.
think is gonna. Here's who I don't think is gonna miss a beat. And everybody's gonna laugh at me when I say this. The Pacers are not gonna miss a beat. The Pacers are gonna be in there this year, even without Halliburton. And I'm gonna tell you why. They play the best team ball in the East. And now you have McConnell, who's a straight dog running point, that is going to give you both ends of the court. You got defense, you got offense. He's gonna play make. He's gonna be. If you look at the way T.J. McConnell looks and plays, he looks and plays like John Stockton. I put a picture of John Stockton up there, a picture of T.J. McConnell, and they look like they could be like cousins.
Yeah, and also Andrew Nembhard, that guard for them, number two, though how he really stepped up against OKC. He is, I'm pretty sure he's around like a 15 point per game scorer. He actually also has very good playmaking ability. So I think that when you take TJ out, like when you want to rest TJ, you go Nembhard and Benedict Mathurin at the 1 and 2, and just go out there and light it up. Just
Yeah,
light it up. Why not? Why not? This team has just great depth when it comes to scoring prowess to where I'm not worried about missing out on Halliburton 16, 17 a game because I know I'm getting 10 or 11 out of Matherin. I'm getting 15 out of Nembhard. I'm
yeah.
cool. I'm good.
You know, I'm gonna go a different way. In the East, I really think Orlando Magic is built to win that East this year. I'm not saying that they will, but they've got a great young nucleus as well, and they made some changes in the offseason, getting what was the guy from Memphis, Desmond Bain,
Yep.
and that's going to help spread that floor out for Paulo and those guys. So I
And I
think
mean,
Orlando may win the East.
Jalen Suggs
Well,
is starting to come into
The
his own.
West,
Franz Wagner, dude, he can still shoot.
Mm,
You got to watch him. I mean, he's deadly behind the arc. Uh, and everybody else they got,
Yeah.
Jalen Suggs, like I said,
The
Jalen Suggs
West?
is starting to come into his own. But Beccaro, they just gave him his extension. He's really turning into something. Beccaro is one of the best players to watch in the league right now. So I don't hate that Magic stake. I think the Magic have this year a really good squad and they play really good team ball.
and don't forget Franz Wagner.
I got a Rodism for that hot take he just left in the back of his
Lord.
pants. Rod, it's going to take a lot of magic for Orlando to pull that out. That's all I got to say.
and also,
That's the Rodism of the day, gentlemen.
I mean, Jalen Suggs,
The fairy dust has spoken.
Rod, I don't know.
Get those
Jalen
little
Suggs,
smokies out of my
He's
face.
starting to come into his own.
I don't know.
I'm not saying that he's
man.
great. I'm not saying that he's an all-star.
Here's my thing though, Brandon. No. I respect that, but I'm saying that my problem with Orlando is that they made the right change. I just think that they made it at the wrong position. Now, I know that I might sound crazy for this, but I feel like if they had been able to get a point guard that could shoot the ball a little bit better, because I was hearing rumors throughout the end of the year last year that they almost made a deal between the Cavs and the Magic, and it was going to be a deal of Garland and Suggs. Because Suggs fixes everything defensively for you at the guard position, gives Donovan Mitchell a defensive piece next to him, and then Garland would pair very well with Desmond Bain and would be one of the better shooting backcourts in the NBA. And coupled with the two of the best slashers being Banchero and Wagner, it just makes ultimately more sense as a roster construction. So like that, I feel like that would have been better for both of those teams. I don't think that Orlando has enough shooting. I feel like if Franz doesn't shoot at least like bare minimum 34% from three, and if Banchero can't get that type of streak either, I don't know. I don't know if they're able to pull that.
Well, I mean, you've got Desmond Bain, who's your shooter. You've got Banchero playing power forward, who can go inside, outside. You've got Franz Wagner, who is one of the best cutters in the league, and he's one of the most underrated players in the league right now. I mean, these guys play. I don't mind the Garland for Suggs. I don't mind that trade. Seeing Suggs playing next to Spidey, that would be cool. Donovan Mitchell's a really good ball player. I think if you had a Jalen Suggs next to you, I think you'd be able to do more. I'm with you on Garland is more of a facilitator. I'm with you on that. I think that absolutely is true. I think Garland's a better shooter. I'll give you that. Where I'm with you on Jalen Suggs is Jalen Suggs is completely bought into the Magic organization. They bought completely into him, and he's taken that and he's ran with it. And he said, you know what, I'm going to be a team player. It's not about the Jalen Suggs show anymore. Jalen Suggs is not Jalen Brunson, and that's where I like Jalen Suggs with the Magic. And there might have been trade rumors. He's not your strongest player. I get that, but he's bought in. And for the team aspect, the team chemistry, you got to have players that are bought in. And if this is what his third, fourth year. So I think you're real.
Yeah, something like that. I
I
believe
think this is year three,
yeah,
might be
yeah.
year four.
Yeah.
At this point, he's really got to grow into that next contract and really show out this year. And I think this is the year that he does it. I really liked his improvement every year. Every year he's gotten better and better and better. I didn't like him coming in. I didn't like the chains. I didn't like the flashiness. I didn't. You hadn't done nothing yet. You hadn't earned nothing. But he's really starting to make a way in Orlando.
I don't see Orlando winning the East, but I do see them in the semifinals.
I think they're a playoff team.
Yeah, I think they could lose to like a Milwaukee Bucks or something.
Yeah, I mean, I got them going past the quarterfinals, but I think it's going to be the semifinals. I think they're going to be close to a. They're going to sniff the East Championship Series, but they're not going to make it. I think they're still a year away. I mean, I don't disagree with some of y'all's takes on their playing squad. I think they've put some good pieces there. I mean, I do know who Wagner and Banchero are. Um, yeah, I remember when Banchero first came in the league. He was a hot little shooter, putting up some points and fantasy and other things. So, like I said, I haven't been a big watcher of the NBA since '97, but I do pay attention to the some of the playoffs and the finals. Um, but yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know, but
And for my Western Conference, I'm a. I guess I'll ride with
You're right.
Houston.
You all right.
Oh, okay.
boy, I almost picked Houston to watch this year. I'm glad I took San Antonio.
You know who I'm
Thank you,
riding
Rod.
with out of the West, dude? Yo, man, I tell you, do not, I repeat, do not sleep on Anthony Edwards and them Timberwolves, man. Like, them boys almost made the finals last year. They are a good basketball team. I think that Anthony Edwards is coming into his Kobe era. He's about to, dude, he's about to fry the league because he's gonna have to. There's no other really scorers outside of him on that team. You're really gonna rely on Julius Randle to go get you a bucket? No, I'm a Knicks fan. Trust me, I'm not relying on that guy to go get me a bucket of water, let alone get a bucket on the court. Like Anthony Edwards is gonna have to come into his own this year. Like that
That's
Timberwolves
that,
team.
that,
Watch out for Ant Edwards MVP. I'm saying it right now.
that's a team. That's another team that I feel should be in the East. I look at some of these leagues and scratch my head thinking, why are they in the West? I mean, I look. I know when the franchises get handed out, they've got to go either here or there. But I wish there was a realignment in the NFL, and I wish there was a realignment in the NBA. I really think that they need to realign this a little bit better because to me, Minnesota's always seemed like an Eastern Division team to me, playing in a Western Division.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
You know what I mean?
A team that I'm really looking forward to in the East as
I
well,
think
and it's all going to maintain on health is the Sixers. I think Paul George and Embiid, if they can stay healthy with Tyrese Maxey, I think that is a Kobe, Shaq, Derek Fisher esque type team.
Could be.
Yeah, just they gotta stay healthy because they have not proven that they can, and it's weird. It's almost like every player that they bring in, something ends up happening to. Like with Paul George, he got injured after coming to the Sixers. James Harden got injured after coming to the Sixers. You had like obviously Embiid has been injured on and off for the last six
Yep.
or 7 years. So like it's just at the end of the day, like, and here's my thing. I like that take though. If they could stay healthy, Brandon, absolutely. Because Embiid's been an MVP. Like, let's not lie to ourselves here. But but at the same time, are we going to get that production out of Paul George? Is Paul George going to be able to score more than 16 points per game? Is he going to have an actual? Because he was an MVP candidate
That's what I'm
a few
saying.
years back. Is he going to be able to tap back into that and be
That's
that
what I'm
second
saying.
coming?
It's going to depend on health for them. They are scary. I mean,
Yeah.
when you look at some of their role players, like Kevin Lowry is going to come off the bench. Tyrese Maxey's going to be he's going to be the point. But Kyle Lowry, we saw what he did. We saw
Quentin
what he did in
Grimes.
Toronto. Kelly Oubre, um, he can he can shoot lights out sometimes. He gets hot, and he's a great Rick Fox. You know what I mean? Um, it's everything in that
Yeah.
03, 04, the one that they lost to the Pistons. It's got all the makings of that team over here in the East. I think the team that plays the best team ball is going to win. I still think the Pacers play the best team ball, but I'm nervous about Philly. I think it's time for them to put up.
What are we thinking about the Warriors, by the way?
I'm excited to see Seth and Steph. I'm excited to see the brothers unite.
I just Al Horford and like you get what
Al
I'm saying,
Horford's
Brandon. They
nice.
got Al Horford. They got yeah, no, absolutely. Could you imagine like the offensive kind of like pick and roll, pick and fade with Curry and Al Horford?
It's gonna be
It's
nasty.
gonna be nasty.
But and then you got Seth, and I think Seth, right? I think this year Seth, I think we're gonna see the Seth that we should have been seeing. Um, and I just think that having your brother next to you, it means something to you. And so I think we're gonna see more out of
Hmm.
Seth than we've ever seen. And I think we're gonna see what Seth really could be this year.
Seth has been a very Seth
Seth,
has
yeah,
been a
he
very
has.
underrated player
But
too.
I mean, he's not been with
Yeah.
very good teams. They expect him to be Steph Curry, and even though he can shoot like that, um, the gameplay doesn't require that, and so he plays the game that's in front of him, not the game that you want him to play, and that's one of the reasons I really like him. And, his IQ is up there. His IQ is really up there. Seth is.
Do y'all see Steph and
No,
Seth being coaches in the league one day, or
I could see Seth, not Steph. I could see Seth. I think Seth could do it. Steph. I think that he. I think when you are a level of player, let me just preface this. When you're a level of player, like when you end up becoming a coach, like all these players that we've seen become coaches, usually you're a certain level of player. Like let's think about what's his name? Jason Kidd, for example. Like you're usually like a decent to all-star to like almost superstar, but you're not gonna see like LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, etc. coaching a team one day. I just don't see that happening,
I
like
think
that
if
level of
LeBron got a
player.
chance to
I feel
coach the
like they have
Suns,
too much going on in their own lives to go do that. Sorry, what'd you say, Brandon?
what, Brandon?
sorry, my wife texted me. Um, I don't remember. Keep going. Oh,
You were
I
saying
think if he
about
got a chance to
LeBron
coach the
James
Suns, I think he
coaching
could do
his
it.
son.
If he got a chance to coach the Suns, be a big NBA
Yeah, it's a
coach
different. That's a little bit of a different situation. I
on
agree
a
with that
team that
there.
his sons were on, I think he'd coach that. Outside of that, I don't think LeBron James, and I don't think Steph Curry would do it either. I do see Seth because he's of his IQ and his prowess in the league. I think he would have more tolerance for players that mess up than a player like Steph. I think when you hit that caliber, frustration levels hit you differently. Like I coach women's professional football, right? Women's professional football doesn't have as much money like the NFL, right? Women's professional football is fun for me to coach, and I have more tolerance for those players. One, because they didn't play as long as we did. Two, they don't make as much money as the other guys do, right? The college football players, now that they're making money, my tolerance for them has gone way down. Like at this point, you should be executing. Like, especially now that you're getting paid for it, you really should be executing. I should not be seeing Coach Sark be
Millions of
outcoached by
dollars at
Billy
like
Napier.
19
That
years
should
old.
never happen. I darn sure shouldn't see players getting outplayed by players that are making less money than them. That is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like taken away from any given Saturday, bro. Like honestly, do you guys agree? Like how it used to be any given Saturday, like you would like because now it seems like the money has kind of blinded a lot of people because it's like you don't even get to like really be any given Saturday anymore because it's like you expect like say like a high paid program to go out there and perform like a high paid program, high paid players.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I always got to bring my Seminoles into this conversation. It went from any given Saturday to every given Saturday for us. We lose. So I agree with it. And you mentioned execution. I'm all for it. I mean,
He is the executioner
Dude, that's
right
why I
there.
love Dio, bro. I
yeah,
swear.
Rodney, your Browns take a minute ago. I went from judge, skipped the jury, and just went to executing. Okay, so I was like, no, don't put the Texans in the Browns conversation. But I like that take on Seth Curry because I remember both those boys at Davidson, and I could see Steph just retiring comfortably and going and do what he wants to do, but I could see Seth sticking around in the league and giving back in that sense. Steph was always more of he gives the fans what they want. You know what I mean? Seth is more of the complete package of he's going to give back to basketball as well as the fans with his maturity and his IQ. Like Brandon said, that was I like that. He has the withal, with basketball. His brother's more talented. Steph is more talented, but Seth is a well-rounded guy. I do like him, in that sense. So I don't like the LeBron sticking around in the NBA as a coach for his kid. That just stinks too much of Sanders, of Shadur and Dion. I don't like it. Get it out. I don't like the Belichick deal that he made with North Carolina that his son gets to coach
But
next.
I think that's
give
the
me a
area that we're
break.
going to start seeing. I think
You
we're going to
know,
start seeing more and more nepotism. I think it's going to be harder and harder for the kids that
Yep. Good point, Brandon. I love it.
it's going to get harder and harder
So
for the
much
kids that
more.
I
have no
love it.
ties.
So much more. Yep. It's all politics now when it comes to the sport. And it's sad. It really is sad. It's become like it becomes what your dollar amount is and also who you know. And I think it's a combination of both. So like let's think for
But
example like
we've
Nico. Like we always talked about him, how he's getting paid all this money, didn't perform, and now is starting to play up to snuff. Like I feel like nobody would have been talking about how super bad his performance was if he was just on
Right.
scholarship. It's just my opinion.
So, and to bring something else into this, Rodney has mentioned this numerous times, and look, it's nothing against Rodney for bringing this up. I'm glad you did because I would have never thought of it. They talked about firing Trent Dilfer and Mortensen, the interim coach, beat Memphis the other day. My question is, did he get there on the merits of his skill and his time and tenure working hard, or did he get there because of his daddy?
I
That put
think
him in that position.
I think he worked. Yeah,
Yeah, I can see
I
it.
really believe he worked hard.
Yeah.
I think he worked hard on his own merit, but I
Okay.
think he picked up his IQ from his dad because of what his dad did, like being able
Yep.
to study players,
Yep.
and I think that really helped him.
That I'll agree with. But if he got the fast track over people that were more tenured, that's where I would say, I don't like it. I want. That's my only point. I'm not saying he's not good at what he does. Obviously, I mean, he just went out there. He went and coached a team. He went and coached a team that beat Memphis, who beat Arkansas, an SEC school. So
Exactly.
I give them all their due diligence and their credit. But it's just one of those questions I'll raise every time. Going, did he get put ahead of two other guys because of his dad, Chris? You know what I mean?
And you know what? All due respect, I think name carries something sometimes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think because of name, it gets him known more. But I think they looked at the value of his knowledge. Does that make sense?
It does.
I can see it going both ways. I can see name recognition, but also diving deep into who.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we the fans think. It's up
Right.
to the athletic director of the university. So, I mean, they're allowed to do whatever they want. Jake, I think you're the first person that could take two TV characters and combine them. You are Stan off of SD, and you are Wilson off of
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement. No, I like it. You're from the nose, your nose down is gone. But I love it because it looks like a Stan Wilson. You've taken two shows and combined them. You're Stan off South Park with the bog in there, and then it's actually that might be your thing. Just have the eyes and the hat. Just wear a different one. Wear you a basketball one. Wear you a baseball one. Did you hear what I said, Brandon?
What?
I said that Jake took Stan from South Park and he took Wilson from Home Improvement and combined them.
With Joe Dirt.
You can,
mullet.
You know what I mean?
You're good.
No, you're good. I've been watching the whole episode. I'm going, he's two characters right now. It's great. I love it.
So we're gonna have one called Wilson's. The segment called Wilson's Corner
Corner
when Jake comes on.
Yeah. Or we could say, let's. What's the other side of the fence got to say?
Wait, on the fence with Jake.
Yeah. I like Jake's takes. I like Jake's takes too.
Yeah.
Jake's takes.
But I was thinking.
All right, so Rockets and Thunder. Who are we taking?
Thunder.
I'm gonna go Rockets.
The Thunder are gonna want to play that game because they're probably gonna raise their banner.
Yeah, it's in Oklahoma City.
It's in Oklahoma City,
raising the banner.
They're raising the banners. I'll take the home team on that one, raising their banner for the championship. So.
Can I tell y'all how funny it is that Kevin Durant has to stand in Oklahoma City's building at the Paycom Center in downtown Oklahoma City and has to watch the banner be dropped and the ring ceremony happen?
I like that.
And you could have been a part of it.
Woo!
Hey, I got a question.
Maybe
Kevin Durant. I'm Kevin Durant. I got a question for y'all. Where's my ring?
He gets a participation ring.
Well, I hope they do. I hope they do give him a ring pop.
I think he stays in the locker room for all that.
No.
I don't think he's going to go out and watch that. I really don't. He's not going to hear that. He's not going to want to hear that noise. He's going to hear it when he comes on.
Oh, when they call his name, y'all know I'm going to be watching the game at 6:30.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
You're streaming that tonight, correct?
Yeah.
You're streaming that tonight, correct? So to let you know, I did block that individual last night from your live. So she will not be back to your live. Now she can come into Rodney's or whoever else's, but
Yeah.
I kind of had enough. Last
That
night
was
I was kind of like, you know what, done. But yeah, that'll be good. I'll watch that game.
that
I'll
was
definitely
crazy
watch that game
last
with you
night.
guys tonight.
Um,
Whoa! Are we doing the other thing tonight at 7:00?
Let's end the show and get into
Uh,
this discussion.
all right, we got one more pick.
That's fine.
Warriors at Lakers.
Give me the Warriors.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Lakers. I'm going to go with the Lakers.
Why? Because I took the Warriors?
No, because I think the Lakers are going to want to go out and prove something this year. I think they're really going to try to show that they mean business.
Luka's in the best shape of his life.
And in the West, you got to look at this. You can't afford to drop,
No.
Games. So there. Yeah. I think the West is going to be ridiculous this year. Yeah. I don't see a lot of sitting in the West. So if you plan on going to a city near you to catch an NBA game, you're probably going to see the players you went to go see play. Now the East, I could see them maybe. We're 8 games up. Take the night off, which is why I have not had any desire to go see an NBA game recently because I would hate to pay that money and the 3 players I went to go see play aren't playing.
I mean, if you go to Memphis, you can go see Ja.
No. If they gave me tickets and flew me out of Chattanooga to Memphis, I wouldn't even bother because I don't like Memphis. I would not. Yeah, I have no desire to go to Memphis. That city, I saw it back in the '80s, late '80s, and I can tell you that it was bad then. I could only imagine it now. Yeah, you hit it up before. They used to be Brave Tickets fans.
Hey, bro,
Yeah,
he's my
they used to be
partner.
Braves
Two
tickets.
more.
Still no word on the Braves who they're going to hire as a manager.
All right, guys. Well, this episode was brought to you in
Rodney?
part today by Heaven Sent Hellbent Gear. Go to hshbgear.com. Get your 15% off with promo code MARRIED. Styles Apparel. StylesApparel.com. Styles with a Z, where we keep you in the latest women's fashion. Thank you guys so much. It has been real and it's been fun. We will see you guys next time. Peace.
And it's been real fun. Peace.